Yo, welcome to the Global Abby Live. Welcome, good evening, and welcome to the Global Abby Live. It's so exciting to do this live session with you every weekend. I hope you had a great week. I hope you had a productive week. And how is your weekend going too? So it's so good to have each and every one of you join me on today's live session. And today, I don't think it's still news any longer because I like to still re-emphasize on why I always have this live session every weekend. It's so that we are able to get as many people as possible not to get scammed. Because to be very honest, if I if I think about how many people reach out every single time to me, and then at the end of the day they start behaving in the kind of way, and I start to get deep into, like, I start to get deep conversations with them, and they start telling me how their brother was scammed recently, how they were scammed, how they already thought about dumping real estate, and how they feel like real estate is just a scam entirely. It's tiring and exhausting to, and really heartbreaking to have that kind of conversation. However, instead of just looking and hoping that one day everybody gets it and knows how to do real estate the right way, I rather put myself out there to teach people how to do real estate properly. All right. So this is one of the reasons why I'm always having this why I'm always coming here live to talk about real estate, how to navigate the entire real estate market, how to make money of how to make money in the real estate industry. And in fact, today we're going to be going deep into the money parts, right? Because you see, when you hear people that say that real estate is scam and all of that, some of them, don't blame them. Some of them have done real estate. They were not scammed. Like literally, they got the property and all of that. However, the property was not doing what they say it will do. And it's sad. And this is just a knowledge gap thing from what I'm seeing, like from the experiences I've seen, that the people who are having this stuff, it's a knowledge gap thing. And that is why it's important to know that one of the most important thing in the real estate industry isn't the one that will give you ROI. It's knowledge. Now, we see people buy other people's business every single time. You see people buying shares every single time. You see people investing in people's business every single time. You know that one of the things that you will do as someone who wants to invest in someone's business is not to ask what you're going to get in return. Except you've not bought a business before. One of the things you're going to look out for first, before even thinking of how much you get in return, is check the track record of the business. You check how the business has been doing, how long it has been going for. You check their financial records. You check all of these things, and you check the person that owns the business. Do you know why? Because there's something that would outlive you. It's something that will outlive you. It's not something that you want to be guessing with. But just somehow, when people get into the real estate industry, it looks like everybody's brain just gets frozen. Like nobody wants to think anymore. Just feel like it's real estate, it's supposed to produce money. And there was one post I made this week. I said, nothing in itself can produce for you, like can produce money for you, can make you wealthy. Nothing in itself would make you wealthy except what you know to do with the thing. Now, let me give you an instance. We know that in the food industry is making a lot of people wealthy. Everybody eats, right? The clothing industry is making people wealthy. Everybody wears clothes, right? Like a lot of sectors makes people wealthy. Now, it shows you that yes, real estate is something that has proven over time because it's transgenerational. It's something that would stand the test of time. You can't compare it to all these other things I talked about, clothes and food. All of these things still meet individual needs every single day. However, real estate is the one that is transgenerational. But one thing you need to also know is that in as much as those food will make somebody wealthy, opening a food business can blow you up. Opening a clothing line can blow you up. Is it everybody? Have you asked yourself why is not everybody that is making money in those industries? It's everybody that is making money in those industries. The same thing as real estate. That's the same thing. Real estate is making people wealthy. However, it is not making everybody wealthy. Real estate is for everybody, but not everybody will make money out of it because of what they know to do with the thing. Now, we have been so used to that mindset that if you want to buy property, you buy, leave it for a period of time, and then after you leave for a period of time, you now resell and then get capital gain. Totally fine, it's okay. But it looks like that is the only thing we know to do. That's why today I'm going to be talking about how do real estate make people wealthy? How do people get money? How do they earn money? How do they get wealthy from real estate? Because it looks like we're already used to you buy land and wait for 10 years, wait for this. That's the only thing we know about real estate. But there are different things that wealthy people do in the real estate industry that a lot of people overlook. Like so many things that people do in the real estate industry that a lot of people overlook. We are just all into buy, keep it for a period of time, then resell. What happens to the other? What happens to the commercial sector of real estate? You're not doing anything about it. So this is what I'm going to be talking about this today. How do people actually, how do real estate actually produce money for people? How do they produce money for investors? How do they make money from real estate? Now, there is one law in economics that says the higher the demand, the higher the price. It means that whenever something is in high demand, the price just all of a sudden increases. We can see this in Nigeria every time when there's fuel scarcity, when there is limited fuel and all of that. You see that the people that have fuel, they start increasing the price of the one they have, and then it becomes scarce. So majorly scarcity, right? So because of demand, people make money from real estate. Now, this is how I want. This is where I want people to start thinking. The problem is that a lot of people are very selfish. They think about only themselves. But real estate does not reward that. Like every other sector in Nigeria, it rewards solving problems. Like every other sector in Nigeria, it's just like the food industry. It's like you're solving a particular need. There are some that even just focus on diabetic patients. There are some that just focus on people that just want healthy meal or just veggies and all of that. There are some that just focused on local food. They are solving a particular problem, right? Now, in the real estate industry, it's also like that. You have to solve a problem. The problem with people that buy land and keep it for a period of time is that they just depend on whatever the future holds. And that's not how to do real estate. I'm not saying that land banking is wrong. I'm not saying that buying a property and holding for a period of time is wrong. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that is the only thing a lot of people know how to do. Whereas that's not where you should stop. In fact, if you bought lands and then probably, I tell people this thing, right? If you come to me and tell me you have a particular amount of money you want to invest, and you're looking for maybe 20 plots of land inside one bush, you want to invest, so you have acres. I would like try to ask you some questions. I will ask you some questions and all of that. But I always want to be sure that you're not buying these properties because you want to just have acres in mind. Me, I always advise people, instead of buying 20 plots inside one deep forest, inside one village that you don't know when, they just made promises to you and told you that the government is coming, you're depending on infrastructure development by the government before it increases in value. That's totally fine. But instead of buying those ones and then waiting for a period of time, God knows when, instead of taking your money like 50 million naira to go and buy like 20 plots inside there, I'd rather you take that 50 million naira and buy it in a place that is accessible. That way it's easy to liquidate. Because the funny thing, when people finish buying those kind of property, they want to liquidate their property, they want to like get cash, they want to sell, and then they are angry that maybe the realtor that sold to them doesn't want to sell it because the place is not really sellable. The vision you saw, and that person may not see it. And now it's now more annoying to them that you're now pricing the property for now. You're now pricing at almost the same price that they bought the property at the time they bought it. And now for that kind of person that had that kind of experience, he will tell you that real estate is scam. But he was not schooled properly. But imagine taking that money and you go and buy in somewhere that is very accessible for people, and it can, like, properties that you buy and then in next 10 months or in less than a year, you're able to sell with returns on it. That is the kind of property you buy. Now, if you don't have other properties that like are in acres, I would advise that you buy them, but I want to know your why. I want to be sure that you're not just buying for buying sake. I want to be sure that you're not just buying because you want to have acres in your name. Okay, so now back to what I was saying. Now, for a person that bought the property in that kind of place, you're not solving any problem. So you have to depend on the infrastructural development in the future for you to develop. But for someone that bought in town, but bought somewhere that is very accessible, and then is positioned in such a way that even though he may not be in a hurry to sell, there's someone that wants to probably build something there and needs that property. It will be easy for you to sell because of the offers you're going to get. It will be easy. But who is going to give you an offer in a place that has there's nothing, like there's nothing making the place to develop? Because we'll just say it's time. Time will make, yeah, time is one of the factor, is a very important factor in real estate. However, what's in that time, there are things that are happening. There are developments happening. There's road, there's schools, there's plazas, there are homes, there are markets, there are a lot of things happening. There are malls, a lot of things that would now, during this period of waiting, if all those things doesn't happen, the property will still be the way it is. In fact, there is someone I know. I think I've even shared this story before. There's someone I know who has told me that they see real estate he's not doing, and he will do it maybe whenever he doesn't have anything to do with his money again. That's what the person said. And I don't blame him. From his experience and from what he told me, the property that he bought in acres in a particular village in Anambra State. He said that when he wanted somebody to go and buy the property. So they were taking the person for inspection, and the person like said, this place is inside. We'll have to turn back because this was looking scary. And it wasn't he that bought the property. At the time he bought it, it was already cleared. But he said that when he went back there, it was looking worse than it was. That there's nothing. The place is still like that. All the promises. They said the governor will do this, the governor will do that. That the person was even pricing him a very ridiculous amount of money. And the property is still there. He wouldn't touch it. And I said, this is like a very long-term property investment you did. Is it that the person that sold to you did not tell you this? He said, no, the person told him that in the next 1 year, the place will be very developed. Okay. So now back to how do investors make money in real estate? It's a simple thing I talked about earlier. Demand. If there is no demand for something, if there is no problem in a location, if there is no scarcity of something in a location, and you just have a bare land there doing nothing, you say, okay, you don't have money to do development. What happened to joint venture? You can do you can do JV, partner with somebody to get something out of the location, right? But that aside, now demand is the reason why you would see a 1-bedroom in Asokoro for 6 million naira for a rent. Demand is the reason why for somewhere like Uye, apartment will be ranging from 200 to 250 million naira, to say the least. Demand is the reason why cost of living in Abuja is a lot. Demand is the reason why, because the cost of living in Abuja is a lot, people would rather stay in Maraba, would rather live in Nasarawa State, and we're coming to work every day from that place. The cost of living is the reason why people would stay in the outskirts of Abuja and be working in town, because they cannot afford the rent. Now, this means that there are just a few persons in the industry that is solving the problem. Now, it looks like there are a lot of houses in Abuja, right? But I bet you that there are even more people in Abuja than you think. And I can tell you this for free because, I remember when I was trying to find a place in Abuja, it took me over 2 months. It's not like I was not seeing places, so where they were taking me to, ridiculous places. And those ridiculous places were not even cheap. They were not cheap, but they were not my kind of area. They were not my kind of location. They didn't have the kind of ambience I wanted. They didn't have the kind of serenity I wanted. And they were even still expensive. And the shocking thing is that people were living there. In fact, there was one particular day we were going for inspection to a particular rental apartment. And I had to ask the person, people are living here, or is it, I don't understand. And it was very obvious that people are living there. It's to show you that the demand in the Abuja real estate market is a lot. So if you're buying a property in Abuja and you want your property to just be fallow, doing nothing, if you want your property to just be in like just be there, it's not solving any problem, it's not solving, you have to you will leave your investment to chance, and you cannot leave your investment to chance. Oh, thank you. Thank you. You cannot leave your investment to chance. You see, people just they want to be strategic. People say, okay, what's the strategy I can use now? What's the, it's not strategy first. It is knowledge first. What does the market want? It's just like someone who is trying to start a business, right? You're trying to start a business. Okay, you already have a business in another location and you're trying to move your business to a new location. You're going to come for something they call feasibility study. You're going to come and look around and check. Like one of my billionaire friends that want to bring his business to Abuja. He came to Abuja to look around, check what's going on, check the location of where this kind of stuff is needed. Now, he already knows that when he's coming back again, he's not going to be asking people, okay, where can I open my office? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? It's just like me. Before I moved to Abuja, I'd already come to Abuja before. Like I already knew, like I already looked at some locations. I already knew that, okay, these are the kind of people that live here. These are the kind of people that live here. Whether I like it or not, there's this classism in every location, whether you like it or not. Like you see that there's a group of people that live in this location. There's a kind of person that live in this location. You see there are people that live in a particular kind of location, and there's a stereotype to how much they will probably be earning for them to live in that location, right? So I came here, I did my own feasibility study. Same way my friend came here, did his own feasibility study. So when he's coming, he knows how to strategize. But you see the problem with people now, as a first-time investor, you are supposed to educate yourself about the market. You're supposed to get in conversation with consultants, people in the market, people that are active in the market. Because you're not in the market, you're supposed to get into conversation with people that are active in the market, like emphasis on active in the market, not your uncle in the village. People that are constantly selling in the market, they are the ones that know different location and what they have, what they need. Now, if you want to buy a property, what you should even be asking, after trying to check that, okay, what's the property title? Is it a good title? The most important due diligence after the property title is what the property can do for you. It is the property prospects. What is the potential of this property? What can this property, what is the need in this location? What will this property yield and provide value to the environment and will in turn give me money? Now, some people will say, okay, what if you don't have money to start building immediately? I already answered that. You can do JV. And if you don't know who to do JV with, that's if you speak with the company, they can direct you, okay, what do you want to do? What's your budget? What's your capital like? What, like, you because you have knowledge on these things, you are able to at least have an understanding of, okay, if I'm buying in this location, what is needed in this location is plaza. Now, I'll give you an instance. So, somebody reached out to me, and then my client wanted, he wanted an investment, right? And he wanted something that he could use to get cash flow, because you see, in the real estate sector, in the real estate industry, people, like I said earlier, people are not really paying attention to the cash flow sector of real estate. They're thinking that, no, let's just buy land and keep it. But you're robbing yourself, honestly. So now, this my client reached out to me and said he wanted something that can be giving him money monthly, yearly, depends on whatever it is we're able to come up with. And then he asked me for options, and I gave him a lot of options to choose from, cash flow investment options to choose from, and he chose hostel. Right? He said he wanted to build an hostel. And now, because I'm in the market, I know where he will build a hostel. and then he doesn't have to beg tenant to come and rent it. So what I did as a consultant who is active in the market was to find him something that is very close to a university. Something that anybody that wants to stay in university, that doesn't want to stay inside a campus, but doesn't still want to stay far from school, would want. And I built this 48-room hostel for him, for this client. And afterwards, when we're about to rent this property, we had people like in queue. We had 48 rooms. People were queuing up in less than 48 hours. We had so many people, but we had to do screening. We didn't want just anybody to live in that place. So I had to extend it to people that are like, I have to screen, like do all of those things because I handle the management and the rentals too. So we had to do a lot of screening, and it extended it to about 5 days. But even before that 5 days, we already had more than enough people that was ready to rent that place. And that hostel is the most expensive amongst others because the quality of living we brought in there was nothing compared to the ones that were already staying there, that were already built there. So that is how it works. There's a problem that is in the market. You come in as an investor, not thinking about yourself, but thinking about what you can do for the market. And in turn, the market pays you back. Now, you get into a market like Abuja. There are different things that work in different locations because we all know that Abuja has a system on which it operates. You can't just build whatever it is you like. You have to build according to the Abuja master plan, right? So there are locations where you can build residential houses, terraces, what you call townhouses in diaspora. You can build apartments and all of that. Now, if you want to build an apartment in a location, that's what you want to build. You need to ask, what does the market want? It's not about you wanting to build apartments. If you build apartment there, will it be hard for you to sell? Will it be hard for you to rent out? Okay, the exit strategy, some people will say, okay, they also want to do this for the next 5 years. And afterwards, they sell the apartment and build something else in a different location. Now, for that kind of plan, for that kind of idea in your mind, is it something that within the next 5 years to have given you your return based on the trajectory of other people that have built apartment there? The trajectory of results of the other people that has built apartment there. But you cannot know all these things on your own. You need somebody who is active in the market again, like I said. So you need to understand the demand in the market. You need to know what the market wants. That is how you make money in real estate. You see us, we're currently building, we are building apartments in Wuye. We are building high-rise, it's not really high-rise, four-story building in Wuye. We have apartments, we have fully detached terraces, 5-bedroom and 6-bedroom. And you're wondering why we are doing that. It's because of demand. The demand for apartments in Wuye is a lot. In fact, only by December, I had a lot of apartments to give out to investors or clients who are coming back to Nigeria, who would want to stay in an apartment with your family, who doesn't want to go to the village, who wants to stay in Abuja, but wants to stay in a very comfortable place. So I had apartment options. But guess what? Even before they came back, most of those things were already, like, people had already booked. And they are not cheap. They are not cheap. Some of them for 300,000 naira daily, some of them 200,000 naira a day, some of them 250,000 naira a day. And now you're given an opportunity like in a place like Wuye where you have apartment from 250 million naira to 300 million naira for a 3-bedroom apartment. And then in that same Wuye, we're giving you a 159 million naira 3-bedroom apartment as a pre-launch sale. And one of the reasons why the price is still like that is because the building approval is not yet out. And the reason why the building approval is not yet out is because we are trying to infuse some new option into that place. You see, we did not put options like 1 bedroom and 2 bedrooms in that place because we want it to be for some kind of persons, not for everybody. But funny enough, people started asking for 8 bedrooms, right? It was so funny when I heard, like, who asking for 8 bedrooms, which are currently selling for 1.2 billion in Wuye. And that 1.2 billion naira you're saying, you're thinking about, you can't even use that to even get a land in Wuye. Probably, I don't know, maybe a 300 square meter or something, which is very hard to see. So you see, what you know to do with a thing is what will make you wealthy. When you buy real estate, what are you doing with it? What problem are you solving with it? What demand are you meeting? Some people use their real estate to do agriculture. That's a demand they are meeting. Some persons buy, build, and sell the property. That's another demand they are meeting. Some persons they buy, build, and rent it out. That's another demand they are meeting. While some other persons they buy, use the apartments, use the place for apartment, furnish it, and sell it off as a fully furnished apartment to someone else who is not ready to take all the time to wait. Because like this apartment we are currently selling in Uye, there are a lot of people that will probably not key into it now. While there are some other set of people who will key in now, they'll furnish it, do everything, and then sell to somebody who wants a fully furnished apartment. But you see the problem, a lot of persons think that, okay, I don't have money for this apartment. It's quite expensive, it's quite pricey. But then the same person wants their income to grow. They forget that the reason their income is not going to grow is because they are not choosing opportunities. You see why I tell people this thing, that is people tell you that I don't save, or saving is a scam. Saving will not save you. Saving will do this. Saving inflation is going to eat up on your savings. Blah 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 blah. While that may sound very motivational and very exciting to say, it's not entirely true. Because if you're someone that earns like 5-6 million naira and you want to buy a property and you're trying to build a property portfolio of 100 million naira, that means you need to sit down, check your earnings, know how much you can save up, develop your capital to a stage, and that way you can have a reasonable capital for you to invest in. Now, when you finish investing that money into that thing for a period of time, the property price increases. This means that while you might have a payment plan option for you to complete your own payment for that particular property, it also means that someone else who is just coming in will be given at a new price. Whereas you're going to buy at an affordable price, which was the pre-launch price that was given to you earlier. So it's not about saving is going to do this, saving is not going to, it's going to save you. Yes, saving is actually important. Thank you. Saving is very important. The only problem I have with people who just save without is that they just save without a plan. It's when you save without a plan, without any tag to it, without any consequence for what you're doing, that is when it becomes nothing. That's when you put your hand into your saving. But when you know that you have a target to meet, you have an investment target to meet, you will know that when money comes in, the first thing you do is take out the one that is not for you, which is the one you're using to build your future finance. And you put that money into the investments that you want to do. That way, there is a consciousness on how you're going to build that savings up to become capital and invest it in the property you want to invest in. Because a lot of time people think that I have spare 1 million naira, just find me any property somewhere. Then you buy a property of 1 million naira, okay. And then when you want to, probably you need money, you want to liquidate, and then you're calling the person to sell the property for you, and there's no buyer yet, and you're like, real estate is a scam. What happens to keeping that 1 million naira in his side and save another one, save for a particular investment, and then use that money to put into that investment to start something useful and meaningful? Because the problem here is that a lot of persons, they are doing it, the education that we get a lot about real estate is that buy land now, they are not making any more of it. Buy land now, the greatest investment on earth is earth. This one, all of those things, they sound interesting. However, it is not that particular part of real estate that is the entire thing that concerns real estate. It's not that particular method that encompasses the entire way that real estate works. People try to do, they try to be experts on what they don't have knowledge about. They try to give professional knowledge or professionalism into what they don't even have any idea about. While some people have been burnt in the past because of scams for documentation, that hurts. However, if you're going to do real estate right, one of the most important due diligence you can do for yourself, aside the title, one of the most important due diligence is asking for investment potential. What does this market need? What does this market need? Okay, there's this property that I saw is amazing, good document, this one. Now, what does the market need? That is the question you should ask. Why are you asking that question? So that you know how to position yourself. You see people make mistakes of saying, I don't like that area. You don't go and buy where you like. You buy where the money is. You buy where the money is. Because you may not like a particular area, but there's a lot of, like somewhere like Abuja, there's a lot of demand for housing, like rental properties, apartment. There are a lot of demand for it. That's why it's so expensive. And apart from the fact that it's expensive, it's not even, it's not as much, it's not so available, it's scarce. One apartment comes out today, it goes out the next minute. You come and check today, they are telling you that somebody has booked it for the next 1 year. You see how the market is, it's in need of investors who want to solve this problem. Who wants to solve this problem? Because it is when you solve problem, you see, behind behind what you use, the wealth you're seeing, like just like two sides of a coin, right? A front side, let's say the front side and the tail side. At that front side, you're seeing wealth. At the back side, you're seeing value. Behind that wealth is value. So if you're not providing any value to the market would not reward you. So whether it's a property that has a good document, the next thing you should be asking is, what is the investment potential? What is the property potential? What's the location potential? What can this property produce? What does this location want? What can I do to make this property give me more money? What need can I solve that will make the market give me more money? Is it rental? Is it apartment? Is it terraces? Is it plazas? Because there's some location that needs all those commercial plazas and all of those things. So it depends on you to ask this question. That's the only way you're able to know what the market needs and how you can solve the problem. That way you make money off the market. But people don't ask these questions. The only thing is that they just see adverts online. They're like, okay, I saw this property. How much is it going to give me? What's the return on investment? We are thinking about ourselves. What's the return on investment? What's the return on investment? Right? But what's the market potential? Because it is when there's development, that is what drives growth. If there's no development in a location, there is no growth in the location. So I hope we're able to understand and have a better perspective on how this thing works, because it's so important that a lot of people are beginning to neglect the most important thing, and they are focusing on what they can get from the market without offering any value at all. But real estate doesn't reward ignorance. You need to understand the markets, know what works in the market, and then you know how to position yourself. That is when you can now be strategic, especially after checking that the property title in this location is awesome. It ticks all of the boxes. It's FCD approved. For people that want to buy in Abuja, the property is FCD approved. It doesn't have any encumbrance. There is no court issues. The next thing you should be asking is, what does the market want? So that brings me to the end of today's live session. I hope we're able to get one or two lessons and one or two value. And one thing I always say is that for this live session, if you ever send this link to anybody who is just starting out in the Abuja real estate market, if you ever send my YouTube channel to anybody who is investing in the Abuja real estate market or who wants to start doing real estate generally, they cannot get it wrong. You can't be on this channel and be scammed. You can't be on this channel and get it wrong in real estate investments. If you get it wrong, it's because you're not paying attention or you're not even listening to me. Maybe you just like hearing me talk, but you're not actually listening to me. Because there are some persons that will just enjoy seeing you talking, but they're not listening to what you're saying. So please, make sure you're not just listening to me. Make sure you're not just hearing what I'm saying, but you're also listening to every single detail I'm saying. So if you know any family who is abroad, who is in Nigeria, who wants to get into the real estate markets, please send this link to them, send this video to them, and then please encourage them to listen to it during their free times while they're driving to work, so that they're able to make informed real estate decision. This is one reason why I hold this live session, so that you're able to make informed real estate decision. Because I mean, We probably might get on consultation calls, but it's important that more people get to hear these things so that we can reduce the level of people that get scammed every single day in the real estate industry. All right. So it's so good to have each and every one of you here again. Thank you for joining my live session. I hope to see you the next time I come here live. Do have an amazing weekend. And of course, have a great week ahead. Bye.